Hello everyone, welcome back to the R&J Fix channel.
I'm R.
And I'm Jay. Today, we will be resetting the TPMS, the Tire Pressure Monitoring System, in a 2015 to 2020 Honda Fit. In some countries, this is known as a Honda Jazz. Now, there are two different types of systems that you may encounter doing this job.
As Jay mentioned, there are generally two types of systems that you'll find in cars today to monitor the tire pressure system. There's a direct and an indirect. In the direct system, the tire valve does double duty. It's a typical tire valve, but in addition to that, it has an onboard sensor and a transmitter in it, as well as a battery that will monitor the pressure in the tire and transmit that pressure to an onboard computer in the car, and when necessary, alert the driver to a low pressure situation. That battery is a long life. They typically last about 8 to 10, sometimes 12 years. There's also the indirect system, and that's the system that this Honda has. The indirect system, this tire valve, is a typical tire valve, does only the tire valve job. The way that car works for tire pressure is it uses onboard sensors, the wheel speed sensor or the ABS sensor or some combination of both, with the theory being that as the tire pressure decreases, the diameter of the tire changes, and when the diameter changes, the speed of that tire will change compared to what the car was expecting. When it senses that difference in the speed of rotation, it sends that message to the driver that there is some sort of a problem with the tire pressure. The tire pressure monitoring system in the indirect style is not quite as accurate as the other, but it doesn't have a battery, so it has a long-term life. The first thing you want to do when you get a tire pressure light is to actually make sure that your tire pressure is correct. Yes, there are reasons that the light can come on without a tire pressure issue. There's radio interference, there's certain other things that can cause that, but you want to first make sure that your tire pressure is correct. In the direct system, when your tire pressure is correct, the light will go off automatically as soon as the tire valve sensor senses that the tire pressure has been fixed. Just a couple of seconds of driving and that light will go off on its own. But in the indirect cars, we actually have to do a reset. And we have to force the car to do a reset and a recalibration. And to do that, we're going to use this button right down here at the bottom, which has the tire symbol on it. And you can see, like I said, it's a cross section of a tire with an exclamation point. Now in a Honda Fit, to find this, we're going to start at our steering wheel. We're going to go left to the cup holder, and we're going to go straight down below the dash, and we're going to find our tire pressure reset switch. So in this Honda Fit, we're going to force the reset and the recalibration of the tire pressure system because we have, as mentioned, the indirect process type. To do that, we're going to put the key in the ignition and we're going to turn the car to the on position. And notice our light right here. Now, in true transparency, this is our second take of this. That light was on steady in this car, but when we did the first take, of course, we reset it, and now it went off. But the procedure is the same.
It's the magic of YouTube.
It's great. So what we're going to do in order to force the reset is we're going to go down to that button that we showed you before, and we're going to watch that light. What should happen is that light should flash twice. Once that light flashes twice, we're going to know that the car is now in recalibration mode. So I'm pressing the button, watch for that light, and you saw how it flashed twice. That's telling us now that the car is in calibration mode. Now there are 3 different ways in the Honda Fit to activate that calibration depending on the trim level of the car you have. This is a Honda Fit Sport, which has the lowest level of technology, which is that hard button that I just showed you down at the bottom. There's also a higher level of technology where the car has an onboard touchscreen computer right about here. And what you would do is you would access that onboard screen, the touch screen. You'd go to Home, then you go to Settings, then you go to Vehicle, then you go to TPMS Calibration, and then you hit the Calibrate button. There's also an intermediate level where you have that higher level display, but the screen is not touchscreen, and in fact you have to use these steering wheel buttons. In that case, what you would do is you'd go to the steering wheel button, you would scroll until you find vehicle settings, then you find TPMS calibration, and then you hit calibrate. Regardless of which 3 of those different computer activations you have, the system is the same once you've hit calibrate. Now the car is going to do the recalibration. What it's going to do is it's going to wait for you to do a cumulative 30 minutes of driving between 30 and 60 miles an hour. When the car senses that it has that 30 minutes of cumulative driving between 30 and 6, it says, I've got enough data for me to calibrate what the speed of the wheels should be, and it'll do it by itself. There's nothing else for you to do. It'll do it all on its own. All you have to do is that push calibrate in order to get the recalibration started.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for coming with us. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, if you got something out of it. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you soon.